and welcome to episode 2 of the It's Okay Kid podcast. This podcast is your weekly dose of clarity and self-discovery. If you're into fitness, well-being, the occasional funny story, then we're the podcast for you. Okay, so this episode is going to be about the judgmental part of your brain. I told you in episode 1, I'm going to do a series of maybe 3 or 4 episodes on how to move forward in your life. I was in a bad place a couple of years ago and I wanted to create the first few episodes of my new podcast to be the help that I was looking for those couple of years to get me back to where I am today in a good place. So this episode is going to be about the judgmental part, the voice in your head, the voice of impossibility. You've maybe heard it being called in the Chimp Paradox book, there's a human in the chimp. Well, this bit's about the chimp. This voice, unfortunately, it is a part of you, but it's not you. There's a documentary on Netflix called Stutz, and it's Jonah Hill's, the actor Jonah Hill. He was in a bad place as well. And in that documentary, his therapist calls it Part X. It's the bit you can't get rid of. But the good thing is, this voice helps you grow the more you defeat it. You can never get rid of it, but the more you defeat it, it breeds confidence and it helps you grow. Now, you've probably heard that voice. It's probably ringing through your head and it's not your fault. I was the same. I've actually got the tools to defeat it, but a few years ago, I wasn't using them. Like I say, you can never get rid of the voice, but today we're going to speak about a few tools. I'm going to show you how to reframe the questions that we ask ourselves to then shift our belief, shift our action, shift our behaviour, and hopefully get you the results you want. So there's 3 aspects of life / reality that you can't get rid of. You can't get rid of the pain of changing, the pain of being uncomfortable, the pain of doing something new. You can't get rid of the uncertainty. When you do something new, that's when this voice is at the loudest, because you're moving in, you're brave enough, you're having the courage enough to move into a space that you've never done before. So it's going to flag up all these things, all your core beliefs, that you're no good enough, you'll never do this happens to other people, it doesn't happen to you, just stop what we're doing. And also the reality of constant work. The tools you're going to need to use on a daily basis to help you move forward and create action. So it's pain, can't get rid of that, unfortunately, uncertainty, and the courage for the constant work. But like I say, the good thing is this voice helps you grow. This voice, albeit it's unhelpful at the time, but if you've got the tools to combat it, then it helps you grow. One of the main things just during my coaching, and actually I've actually got this core belief as well, is the core belief that you're not good enough. Unfortunately, your core beliefs are formed in your early years, so you can't get rid of them. Dr. Peters in the Chimp Paradox calls them gremlins and goblins. Gremlins are deep-rooted, but you can get the tools to move it. Your core beliefs are, mine's is that I'm not good enough. It might be yours. So the first thing you do when this voice pops up, you're looking for proof. And see, if you ask somebody, you might have this core belief as well. So it's about reframing, it's about asking yourself questions. So how do you know you're not good enough? Where's the proof that tells you that this voice is right? So you look for evidence, and then it's follow-up questions. What does good enough look like for you? Or who is good enough in your life that you deem good enough? What behaviours do they do? What characteristics have they got? And then it's, what's the next step? What's the first step you can do to start moving forward with your new values and your new beliefs? So you're shifting the belief, you're setting a standard, you're getting the person, or yourself in my case, you're getting them to set a standard, because before they're just wandering about going, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not going to try this, because the voice has hijacked your system. It's actually not your fault. You've not had the tools or the systems to actually make a change and move forward. You probably have for a certain amount of time. Then the vicious circle, start something for a couple of weeks, and then your old habits kick in and you're right back to the start, and then you go again and the same thing happens. Well, this, hopefully today, what I'm speaking about is going to change that, and this is how I done it, and this is how I'm where I am today. Starting a new podcast and hopefully helping you. So the first thing, like I say, they come in, I don't feel good enough, I'm not good enough, you're looking for the proof. So How do you know you're not good enough? Follow-up question would be, what does good enough look like? Start to shift it into positive, start to shift their mindset into setting a standard, and then what's the first step that you can take that will get you there? And then get yourself moving on to the first step, and then that's it. Like, what's the next step? And then forward and forward and forward. During that documentary as well, I'll use this tool, but I love this concept, which I'm stealing for Dr. Stutz, and he talks about a string of pearls, and that's when he's taking action. He talks about a string of pearls to Jonah, and every pearl is an action. They've all got the same value, because obviously some actions are bigger than others, but these have all got the same values, and your job this is to create motion, is just to put the next pearl on the string. Now some of these pearls have got dots on them, and that represents, he calls it a turd because he's American, but if you're Scottish, we call it a shite or a shit. And it's every situation isn't going to be perfect. There's always going to be this little stain on it, but that's not your job. That's your lesson. The pearl's the lesson. So no every lesson is going to be good, but your job is to take the action, put it on, learn the lesson, and move on to the next one. Jonah Hill actually reframes that in saying that every good situation has a lesson in it, or he likes to say every shit situation has a lesson in it, because he comes from a kind of negative mindset, and that's how he reframes it. That works for him. There's no right or wrong, but your only job is to get the next pearl on the string, and which creates motion, which breeds confidence, and which gets you making the right decisions. Now, the fact that there's a wee bit of shit on this pearl means that not every decision you'll make is correct. But if you make enough of them, then obviously you'll get to your end goal. It's about breaking the cycle of having a shit situation and then reverting back to type. Your old habits kick in, that voice hijacks the system, and you just end up back to square one. And it's like victim mode. I'm never going to do this, so I'm just not even going to try. This is to snap you out of that. This is to get you moving forward. You always have two choices. Sometimes you'll make the wrong one, which is fine. You can pivot. The next time the choices come up, you make the correct one with your new values and your new alignment, and that's where you go moving forward. You breed confidence. So if you think about people in your life that are winners, or you deem as successful in your life, your friends, whoever, your family, whoever it is, look at what they're doing. They'll not make the correct decision all the time, but they use this cycle. They make the best decision at the time. It might not always be the correct one, but they make enough good ones to combat the bad ones. And that's a cycle. So the cycle is, and by the way, my notes are over there, I've not got anything up in my eyes. The cycle is that you take a risk, like podcasting. There's uncertainty, so you still move forward. If it isn't going right, you can pivot, and you can deal with the consequences. That's massive. You need to be able to deal with the consequences, and then go again. Too many people, myself included, and I'll give you an example. This podcast was one of my goals for 2025, and as you know, I just put my last episode out last week, July. So it's took me 7 months of this cycle, and this is somebody who's got themselves into a good headspace. And I'll tell you the reason. The voice hijacks you and says you're going to get laughed at, you've not got the right equipment, you've not got this, you're going to be in a WhatsApp group with everybody you know, they're all going to be pointing at you and laughing. Crazy stuff. And by the way, that might still be the case. The level of entry, the entry level into doing something new it's embarrassing. You're going to be embarrassed, you're going to be uncomfortable, you're going to be rubbish. That's just life. That's what's going to happen. But if you believe you can do it, and just tell a certain few, remember I spoke about last time, and be intentional about who you're telling. Tell your friends, only cheerleaders. You don't want any negativity when you're starting something new, because that voice will get louder and louder. Excuse me. So only tell cheerleaders, and that's it. In 12 months from now, you'll be known for the thing that you just started new. Story for myself. Thai boxed. Wanted to Thai box. Me and all my friends watch the UFC. I've got a lot of friends that do Muay Thai, Thai boxing. And finished playing football in my 30s and decided I was going to fight. Told my friends, was the butt of all the jokes. you don't fight. And I'm going, correct, I don't fight. I'm a nice person. I'm not going to be running about the streets chasing people down, but I think I'm capable of doing this, and I want to get the feeling. I want to go to the training, and I want to get the feeling that these guys get that I watch on the telly. I want to test myself. So you start off in the butt of the jokes, you keep taking action, you keep showing up, you have the belief that you can do it, and eventually after 3 or 4 months of constant work, every day, every week, every month, you get to a point where you're good enough to start achieving what you believed. So after 12 months, I had a couple of fights, and you start being known for the thing that they were laughing about. So I started being known as Ryan, who does Thai boxing. That's it, and that's what it takes. 12 months of doing this cycle could change your life. So it's about reframing the questions you say to yourself. What does this look like? Start shifting the belief into a positive, and then start asking yourself, what's the next step? What is the next step? And I'll give you a good tip which helped me. And I'm going to be speaking a lot about emotion. People talk about discipline and motivation. They're all great. I prefer routines, and I try and get emotion into anything I'm doing. So this is a tip. It's about future leverage. Easy for me to say. So when you're asking yourself what's the next step, see if you feel yourself dwindling, or that the voice is maybe getting and you're not getting anywhere and you want to keep going. The tip is, and here's the tip, it's to say to yourself, what's going to happen in the future if I don't get a handle on this? Who's this going to affect? Now, you might be doing this for yourself, you might be doing this for a better life for your kids, your family, and like I say, yourself. So what's it going to look like if you don't keep going? And the answer for me was, I'm going to be where I was, really unhappy, overweight, anxious, depressed, all the bad stuff that you don't want in your life. So that'll keep you going. If you're feeling, what is the future going to look like if I don't get a handle on this? And hopefully that will make you move. And that's what it's all about. It's just about moving. It's about doing the next steps, repeating the actions, accepting where you are, resetting and going again. And I'm telling you, see if you can handle these tools and get a handle on them, reframing the questions, it will change your life. Okay, thanks for listening. I promise you, in the episodes coming up, we'll be talking about something that's a wee bit more upbeat. I'm going to get guests on. My first guest is going to be Lee Mackay. He's a double world champion Thai boxer, or he will be next week. He's already one world champion. He's fighting for his belt, for a second belt, next Saturday. So when I get him on, he's mindset-wise, he's the strongest guy I know, trains every day, including Christmas Day, and he's also physically impressive, shall I say. And like myself, he likes to talk, so it will be a good episode. If you've not seen my first episode, please get back and check it out, because they're going to be a series. The one will lead on to another. I'll maybe do 2 more of these, and then we'll start speaking about stuff that's a wee bit upbeat, maybe the occasional funny story, like I've promised you. If you want to hit me up on It's Ryan Monty on Instagram, I'm going to do a YouTube, It's Ryan Monty, but the It's Okay Kid YouTube channel, I'm just going to put the It's Okay Kid stuff in my It's Ryan Monty Instagram. I've not got enough followers, and I don't want to have 2 pages. I just want to combine the 2 just now. I might separate them off later, but 6 subscribers that I'm very, very thankful of. So thanks for that. And we're going to keep going. Okay, thank you.